It's a difference between me, you, they, and them. Why do I have to sneak diss you to prove a point at the end of the day? It's not a win or lose situation when it comes to respect. You know, respecting yourself to stay in your own lane. Yeah, it's a different type of love over here at the end of the day. And I say that respectfully, how I can stay in my own lane to elevate to become my best self vision of myself, not to dim someone else's light because they're having a misunderstanding self-day or they're trying to find themselves within finding themselves and they shortchanging themselves because they don't know themselves today. It be the thought process, me, how you don't want to shortchange your neighbor because they're having a misunderstanding self-day with themselves. You know, good, bad day, doesn't matter what kind of day they're having or within a just because moments, you know, you're not going to sit there and disrespect your neighbor because they don't understand the awareness to stay in their own lane because you choose your best self-vision of yourself and they try to dim your light within trying to dim your light because you decide to love yourself in the most healthiest way and you understand that your pain and your trauma don't live here today and you understand to go within to love yourself in the most healthiest way, not to dim your light. An even exchange was choosing your best self-vision of yourself. They was quick to judge a book by its cover, but you was able to stay in your own lane to understand at the end of the day, there are better days ahead if I understand my pain. You know, my pain and my trauma, going within to understand that it doesn't live here today, to understand at the end of the day, allowing someone to dim my light because they didn't see my worth or let alone they gave up on me because they didn't understand how to handle me. When they took my kindness for weakness, and I didn't have malicious intentions to bring harm towards myself or others around me. But they wanted to shortchange me, but I didn't shortchange myself. I was just patient with my process, to love myself, to be kind to myself, not hurt myself with words. Days when I thought I didn't know how to find the balance to be patient with my process. Let alone to go within to find peace within. It didn't make sense to me. Felt like giving up. But I knew it was better days ahead if I was only patient with my process, not to dim my light because someone didn't see my worth. It's the thought process for me. You know, a negative projection being projected on you will start to project you if you allow it to. That's why you gotta protect your energy at all costs. When you know yourself, not to shortchange yourself. When your past and your trauma don't live here today, that energy is different. You have the proper self-awareness to understand and self-reflect. To be wiser than wise, that you're maturing and understanding at the end of the day that you ain't got to wear a mask to fake gaslight yourself when you're truly at peace with yourself. And you genuinely love yourself in the most healthiest way, not to dim your light, but to acknowledge, to be patient with your process. Because there are better days ahead. They was quick to judge a book by its cover before they actually got in tune with the book. Just because you tied your shoe differently. Just because you spoke up for yourself differently. And just because you acknowledge yourself in the most healthiest way. Not to disrespect yourself or your neighbor with no malicious intentions. They didn't know how to handle you. You was being real within real, showing up for yourself, not shortchanging yourself. And they didn't understand that good day, bad day, regardless if you're going through trauma or pain, it doesn't have to display. You may be going through something within a moment, but you still know how to respect yourself, to respect your neighbor. With no malicious intentions, but they was quick to judge a book by its cover. It's the thought process for me. When you love yourself, to respect yourself, not to go back and forth with words with someone who doesn't have common sense, to respect themselves and stay in their own lane. But they knew how to judge a book by its cover. But you knew how to stay in your own lane and not shortchange yourself today. Because common sense ain't common sense and real recognized real ain't real no more. Nowadays. So you gotta be mindful when you use that word real when it comes to real, recognize real at the end of the day. It doesn't matter who it is, family or not. You gotta be careful at the end of the day to shortchange yourself when someone's trying to dim your light and they didn't see your worth. But they knew how to give up on you and they knew how to sneak diss you and disrespect you. Good day, bad day, didn't matter what kind of day it was. The season's changing, but you never switched up. But they knew how to change and switch up on you. When the seasons didn't make sense to you. But you knew at the end of the day to be patient with your process. And as the season continues to change and understand that your pain and your trauma don't live here today, they understand that, wow, as you mature and get in tune with yourself in the most healthiest way, it was only the season that changed. And you became more aware to mature. to elevate, to become your best self vision of yourself. That's the difference between you and them today. They didn't see your reflection. They wasn't supposed to be part of your journey, and that's okay. Because not everybody's supposed to be part of your journey. And God was covering you and protecting you for all the right reasons. They dimmed your light with them dimming your light, but not today, God says. It's the thought process for me. When you matter, you are worthy. They didn't understand how you overcame the pain and the trauma from being sexually assaulted as a child, being discriminated against, dealing with violence, dysfunctional family, trauma on top of trauma. It went into your adulthood, domestic violence. You put a name to your book, sickness. They wanted you to live in fear and be discouraged. They tried to kick you down. They didn't understand how did you find balance to get up. But you chose your best self-vision of yourself to self-reflect, to be patient with yourself, because God is still patient with you. And God chose you to become your best self-vision of yourself. When you self-reflect, to understand that God is still patient with you, but then that you matter, you are worthy. Because they overlooked you. God never overlooked you or gave up on you. And you believed in yourself, not to give up on yourself, but to be kind to yourself and be patient with yourself in the most healthiest way. Because you matter, you are worthy. Not to dim your light because they didn't see your worth. They didn't understand that, wow, with the trauma and the pain that you experienced from a child point of view going into your adulthood, they didn't think that you would change from being homeless and being sexually assaulted, and understanding the awareness that you're not going to allow your pain and your trauma to allow you to become victim because of your pain and your trauma, to hold you back from your future best self vision of yourself. They made you a victim, but you're not making yourself a victim today. And they didn't understand that because you wasn't trying to shortchange yourself, because God said there were better days ahead. And you believed in yourself, but then believe in yourself because God made you a believer. As you look at your self-reflection of yourself today, to become more of aware that you at peace with yourself, you ain't got to wear a mask. When you laugh within, you mean what you feel, and you feel within, and you understand the love that you have within that you can actually feel. You have the proper awareness to understand that when you heal within, that there are better days ahead, and yet healing will forever be. Because you choose your best self-vision of yourself, to be patient with yourself, to be kind with yourself, and not to allow someone to dim your light. Healing trauma would never be an overnight process, never. And never allow someone to psych you out your thought process and allow you to believe otherwise. But when you choose your best self-vision of yourself to mean what you say and say what you mean, that your pain and your trauma don't live here today. That self-reflection hits different when someone doesn't understand your walk of life, but they were quick to sit there and judge a book by its cover instead of getting in tune to themselves, to mind their business and stay in their own lane when you don't have malicious intentions to bring harm towards yourself or others around you. Because you matter. And God said there are better days ahead, and you was willing to change for the better. So never allow someone to dim your light because you love yourself in the most healthiest way, without having to fake gaslight yourself. When you get in tune with your self-reflection, when you look at yourself in the mirror, not a lot of people can look at themselves in the mirror and acknowledge themselves and actually mean what they say and say what they mean instead of running from themselves. But you went within and understand your self-reflection when you look at yourself in the mirror to say, I love myself and I mean what I say and I say what I mean, and I'm not wearing a mask to hide my pain and my trauma. The energy hit different. You went within to understand your pain and your trauma don't live here today, and understand that you ain't gotta wear a mask to fake gaslight yourself when you're truly at peace with yourself. I gotta go! Never allow someone to dim your light because you matter. And you choose your best self-vision of yourself, not to dim your light, because you truly mean what you say what you mean, that you're real with yourself, not to wear a mask, and you truly love yourself. And it's not a crime to love yourself. I truly appreciate your time to the genuine ones only. Have a safe day. Have a safe week ahead of you. Protect your energy, because not everything your time. Just because someone gave up on you, don't give up on yourself. Just because someone overlooked you, don't give up on yourself. You are genuinely loved by all the right people. You are genuinely loved by all the right people. You are genuinely respected by all the right people. And you deserve to be treated, respected, and throughout days with no malicious intentions, being harm towards yourself or others around you. Never allow a hate in disguise of personal intentions to get your thought process, your opinion, your podcast, or your eyesight, because you matter, you're worthy. I truly appreciate your time to the genuine ones only, not your genuine love, respect. Have a safe day. Have a safe week to the genuine ones only. I gotta go. What's going on? What happened? Have a good day.